everyone. Welcome to the Paranormal Pride. I hope everyone's doing great tonight. I've brought in a guest that was actually in the chat room last week while I was interviewing Joe Citrone, and I thought he'd be a great guest for you guys to hear from tonight. So I hope you will enjoy meeting Darin Buss, and because I know so far I've enjoyed meeting him and hearing him speak. You know, we've been basically talking on the phone and stuff, and I've been learning a little about him. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this. So I am going to, there you go. Thank you, Carl. Welcome, Darin, to the Paranormal Pride. I'm really glad you're here.
Thanks, Denise. I'm glad to be here, too. You got some interesting guests, and yes, absolutely. I like to get into the chat rooms of all these shows and view my viewpoints and help out what I can help out and whatnot, and teach people about the paranormal and stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, I've known Joe since, I've known of him for a really long time. Mm-hmm. We became friends back in 2015. And so I just think that he has a lot of stuff to share with people. And, you know, being on TV has not changed him at all. And that's the best part for me is knowing that. And and we was talking about virtual investigations. As me and Carl and Ron and a couple other people, we have been doing hybrid virtual along with regular investigations for a few years at this point. So it's not like it's a huge step to make a virtual investigation, make it all virtual. Mm-hmm. So like I said, we've already done that. And I think it's interesting to an interesting thought to do the whole thing through virtual.
Yeah.
So, and I know that you were interested in that because you spoke up during that part of the conversation. And and we're doing not our first, but since then we're doing another hybrid investigation on the 30th. So we'll be talking about that later on. At the top of the hour, we'll be having a commercial break tonight. So make sure you guys listen in. We've got some great things to share with you guys. And hopefully you'll enjoy that. Can you turn on that light? It's dark in here. It seems like it's getting darker because we have no sun tonight.
Oh.
So how did you get involved with the paranormal?
So with the paranormal stuff, I started watching the shows kind of like everybody, in 2004 with Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventurers, and it kind of, evolved from there. And, Ghost Hunters is my favorite one that I like to watch because to me, I think they're about as close as logical as you can get on TV without going overboard too much, I think. Because a lot of times at the end they'll say in the review, it's like, well, you only got this and you only got that, so it's like it's not a lot that they get, so they stay relevant, and so I just kind of was like talking to my wife. I was like, hey, this looks interesting. I think we should try and do some of this stuff, and how hard can it be, and so I'd say about 2017, we decided to go on our first ghost hunting investigation with another group, which is a local group in the area. And it was quite interesting. I think we got about 4 hours, just to start. And I was like, hey, they had to bring out all the toys, the REM pods and all that stuff. So I'm learning and all that. And, I kind of snuck in my digital voice recorder because I'm going to start getting some of my gear. Start out small. That's the key, is to start out small and then gradually get all the stuff that you need. So yeah, I just like, hey, can you throw something or whatnot? And sure enough, I got a rock thrown at the bottom of my feet, and it was just kind of weird, And then there was this one time where my wife, they were talking with the spirit box going on, and she heard her name come through. And I never forget that because she's like, did my name just come through? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I'm creeped out now.
My name comes out a lot, and how, I don't know. I mean, especially my first name. When my first name comes out, it's like, okay, well, then it's a spirit that knows me, you know, or knows that I have a different name than what I go by. But, you know, Denise is
it's a hard word to pronounce sometimes for a spirit, I would think.
Technically, it's 3 syllables.
Right.
So, and especially when they get it Denise and not Dennis, I'm ecstatic then, because they're doing better than Taco Bell at that point. Because Taco Bell can't seem to say Denise at all.
And with the fascination with the spirit box bringing your name out a lot too is I watch a ton of Facebook Live investigations. I think that is the most fun way to learn, learn new people, new styles, and how they work, and what might work and what might not work for you. But when your name comes through, and with the chat going on and stuff, and they say your name in chat, whatever you say sometimes, you kind of wonder if the spirit box, just because it heard your name, they're saying your name, I wonder if it's following up on that on the spirit box, and then your name comes out. So
it depends on the equipment that you're using, because there is some equipment that has microphones, and then it holds onto that information and spurts it out randomly at times. And knowing that makes a huge difference.
Right.
And, you know, there are some apps that actually have words built into them.
Yep.
And you can find, I write code, so I know how to find it. And I've been able to tear apart some apps, and I tell people right off the bat, this one is for entertainment only. It's not giving you any valid information. When you find out that an ovulus has a microphone in it and that it's recording you the whole time, does that change your mind about that piece of equipment? And so it makes a huge difference who makes the equipment. What is their integrity level? Things like that. And what can I trust and what can't I trust? Okay, I'm a Gemini, okay? And I'll tell you, I have a lot of opinions, and sometimes they even differ when I'm talking. But again, I'm very highly opinionated on the things that I know. Now, if I don't know something, I may not have an opinion until I know more. But that's where the paranormal comes in. We're all learning more and more things every single day.
It's a never-ending thing.
The minute we stop learning, we're done.
Yep.
So what has been your piece of equipment that's your go-to?
I have a Tascam digital voice recorder I use a lot. The problem what I've noticed with my Tascams is it picks up different frequencies. So like if you got a cell phone tower in the area, it'll pick up on the interference. So that one I'm trying to fix and try and maybe use something else. And I just got a year ago a Philips. It has 3 heads of a microphone. So you got the 2 sides, left and right, and you got one on the top. So hopefully that will work out a little bit better and have no interference and be a little bit more cleaner, because
so RF signals are interfering with your...
I think they are, yeah.
There is actually an RF detector that you can get that will tell you, hey, this is one I probably shouldn't be a piece of equipment I shouldn't be using in this area, because I'm seeing high RF. And I worked for Sprint for years. So, and I still work for a telephone company, so I understand how the RF and the microwave waves interfere with all this other stuff.
Right.
So, but microwave waves are usually very high up. You don't usually have to worry about that, because they don't want those to point at you. They'll fry your insides. So needless to say, you're usually not going to have too much of a microwave issue, but you're going to have an RF issue, because radio waves can go wherever they want. Right. So,
but yeah, the digital voice recorders are my main go-to. I like to use different equipment that people I don't see using. Like I have a plasma ball I'll use, because you know how much of the energy that is. So I'm trying to see if I can get a spirit to touch it and get that, that single, electricity wavelength going on. And then I use Tesla coils Those are kind of cool. Now we're talking not the big ones, but we're talking like the desktop kind.
Yeah.
I found those very interesting, but it's all about experiments. I want to try something new, different that I haven't seen, or if there's something I saw on TV, it's like, okay, that looks interesting. Well, now let's put it in perspective and see if it actually even works, or is it just
or is it just cool on TV?
Right, just cool on TV. So the next one I'm gonna try is have like a couple poles up and 2 balloons one on each side. And I'm gonna see if I can say, hey, Spirit, move the balloon on the left or move the balloon on the right. Make sure there's no wind coming in to set it off in the wrong way. Yeah. And then maybe even pop one. So
we tried that, something similar with dowsing rods.
Mm-hmm. I got a pair.
Well, you don't even want to know how many I have, but I tried it with like bottles, where there's no hands touching it to see if they would go. Didn't work. Put them in the ground. They didn't work. They didn't do any damn thing. So it's like we've tried a bunch of different things with dowsing rods, just trying to get them to do something without somebody holding them. Mm-hmm. And so far, been a no-go on those. But I have a collection of dowsing rods that I have some really nice ones. I have some. My favorite ones are still my coat hangers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, and my friend Roland was always saying, "Hey, just get a coat hanger and try it out." Who needs to go and spend $20, $25 on dowsing rods if you can just make a coat hanger out of one,
And just get some glow in the dark fingernail polish, paint it on there. That way, people can see them move.
Oh yeah, I've seen something like that. It was some mansion in St. Louis. I think it was Riverside Paranormal was using lasers on the top of theirs.
Mm-hmm. Some people also will use the glow sticks, but we tend to use glow sticks anyway in paranormal locations to mark steps and things like that. So usually people have them. Yeah. But yeah, at McPike Mansion, we painted them because we all had similar sets. So we kind of had to paint them so we could see what they were. But we don't use glow in the dark at McPike for a reason. Because we do dark cellar sessions and everybody's looking for brightly colored orbs while they're sitting down there. And if you put something that glows in the dark in there, somebody's getting mad at you. So
that's the first time I've heard of that.
Well, it's respect for the location, because you don't want to have 40 people in there going, I see that purple, I see a purple light over there, and it's like, sorry, it's my dowsing rods. and I'm serious, you don't want to hear that, because my daughter, she actually told somebody, oh, this was hilarious. We were at an event at McPike. Ron and I are volunteers there, and this girl showed up at the overnight. It was a camp out. She was wearing glow-in-the-dark pajamas.
Oh, boy.
And so needless to say, when she went into the cellar, we had to give her a blanket to cover her up because she was going to glow in the dark. And, and it puts off light. Yeah. And so we had to cover her up. Well, she was idiot, too. She didn't know how to put up her tent. She left her tent open. It got filled with mosquitoes and all kinds of other stuff. And she wouldn't stop talking while we were all doing this cellar session. Mm-hmm. My daughter told her that when the bus came, it was there was a group that does tours there, and they get around the city. And my daughter Lauren told her that it was for us. It was for the people at the camp out that we could all get on the bus and go. And so she put this girl on the bus. They didn't do a head count apparently, and they brought her back around 2:30 in the morning. And so, needless to say, she wasn't there when we all got up in the morning. Her tent and her was gone.
Got rid of that problem.
So, needless to say, don't piss off my kids. But yeah, I think that was probably the last. I think Lauren may have went maybe 2 more times after that, but it was just funny. And when we told Sharon about it, I think we didn't tell the owner that this happened until about 4 years ago. because we figured she'd get mad. And when we but we reminded her about the girl, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And all she could do is laugh. So she was, "I wonder what happened to her, why she never came back."
That's funny.
So, but needless to say, don't wear glow-in-the-dark clothes
Right.
to a paranormal investigation.
Right.
It just doesn't work out. So that's your lesson for today. I'd like to say hello to everyone in chat. Paula, Ruth, Gary, April, and there was somebody else that you said hi to earlier.
That'd be Lori.
Lori.
Yep.
Hey, Lori. So don't want to forget anybody. So if you guys have any questions for either of us, please put them in the chat. I will make sure I ask the questions and we'll get them answered.
Absolutely.
So how did you, did you always know that you and your wife were interested in the paranormal, or did you find out later?
Well, see, we always watch horror movies at home. And so we were just into all that stuff and the paranormal stuff, but I'm more in it than she is. She just doesn't really get really ecstatic when something really happens. She's the calm one in the group, So it's me like, oh, look, see what's going on, And it's like, this is so cool. And she's like, yep, I see it. But it's more of, she's starting to adapt to things a little bit more. And plus too, I mean, with my vision and stuff like that too, I can't drive at night very well. So when we go somewhere, she's usually the driver. So, and that she's fine with that. I mean, but she's getting a taste of some places that we've been to, and she's gotten, dug her fingers in and get in and do some stuff. So, eventually, she might get into it more with me later on down the road. But right now, she's just kind of just starting out more, and I guess figuring herself out of what she likes and what she doesn't like. So
Gary asks, do you sense spirits?
Sometimes I can. It's not like the rain. I can sense the rain. But sometimes I can. It all depends. If how the area is and how you gravitate to the place. So like sometimes I just like want to just stand there and just kind of, close your eyes and just be one with the place and see if anything could come to you, But it's mostly sometimes a sense of smell. I get that, or hearing that I can sense that there's spirits around. Sometimes I'll get a disembodied voice I'll catch. But as far as like psychic mediums and stuff like that, to be clairvoyant and stuff like that I don't have. I don't have the luxury to communicate with spirits by just talking to them and getting answers. It just doesn't work for me. So
you said that you have a vision problem.
Yes.
Do you think that makes you more sensitive somewhere else?
Yes. I mean, it just sense your feelings, your bodies. If your hair raises on your arms, if you know that something's different, the smell, the sense of smell. I get a lot with the sense of smell when I feel like something's out of place, where something shouldn't be there, and just the hearing. Just use your hearing and just be one. Like I said, be one at the place and just try and feel the way. I mean, shadow people are hard for me to see and find. Sometimes I will see them, and sometimes it's gradual. But when your eyes adjust to a dark room, then you can kind of sense where there might be a shadow. But when it's fully lit or something like that, and they move fast. They're not slow moving shadows. They move fast. So every once in a while, I might catch one, but 99% of the time, it's really hard for me. So, but I rely on my other senses.
So Lori apparently is wanting you to elaborate a little bit here. She says the piano teacher should have hit her like she did you. So That's going to leave us with a lot of questions. So you're going to have to explain.
Okay, so with we were at the Washoe County Historical Museum out in Wautoma, Wisconsin. So it's about 45 minutes away from me. So with that section of the museum, there's a piano player lady that likes to, go in and now with Lori, in her case, she got pinched a couple of times. So when you're messing with her piano, like really pounding on the keys and just kind of making all sorts of noise, she doesn't like that. So in this instance, she would come and pinch Lori. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try going into this. And I know that I'm going into the building and I'm going to do this. Is I want to see if I can get pinched. So I'm trying to recreate what has happened to her. So I was playing pretty hard and, banging on her keys and, and whatnot. And I wasn't being disrespectful at all. I was just seeing if something could happen. Well, initially I ended up getting punched in the shoulder, like in the upper shoulder part. And I'm like, whoa. So there's no pinch, but I got like a punch. So that was interesting. And so then I was like, okay, well, let's keep pushing and see a little bit more, see how much more I can get out of this. Because when I get into a room, I kind of want to spend at least an hour and a half in this room, just so that way I can get as much as I can out of that time. And so I kept on egging on a little bit more, and all of a sudden it got agitated. And next thing you know, I get punched again in the lower part of my arm. So I'm like, okay, you've made your point. So, and at that point I says, well, maybe it's time to, we got what we were wanting out of this. And so, I was going in the intent to get punched or pinched, just to recreate what happened to her. Mm-hmm. So, but for some other locations that are known to be, now this is not by any means a very, like dark place. Some areas can be dark, but in that area is not really that much of a dark spirit going on. So, but in any other different location, definitely don't go in and say, hey, I want to get this, I want to get that, because you might get something you don't want, But me going in this, being gentle, trying to be as gentle as possible with the wording and other stuff that I was doing, that's kind of what happened with that spot. So
where are you in Wisconsin?
I'm located in Oshkosh. So we are in the east central part of the state. So Milwaukee's south of me by about 100 miles. And we're just kind of like, if you could see where Lake Winnebago is, that's where I am. So
my cousin April, who's in the chat, she's near Wausau.
Okay. So you're about maybe 2.5 hours away from me, because you're more middle of the state.
So there you go, April. Somebody in Wisconsin for you to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's the whole spiel with that, with the piano lady and stuff like that. So I was going there with, and when you go to places, it's all about intent, so I don't wish harm on anybody when they go to these locations, and then they could just do whatever they want to do. It's just you gotta know the location you're going to, but also know that when you do what I did, I was gonna be okay, So just for those who are listening, that I'm not a jerk.
I tend to go in blind. Mm-hmm. I know nothing, and my intent is always to, be honest and open, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the first time I go someplace. The second time I go, I may know everything there is to know about a location.
Right.
But the first time I go, I want to go blind. I don't want to know anything about the location other than what the spirits are telling me. Mm-hmm. So, hello, Donna. Hello, Tina. I'm glad you guys are here. If you guys have any questions, please make sure you ask the questions. We'll get them answered.
Yep. Welcome to chat.
So what was your first paranormal experience?
So my first paranormal experience was at the age of 7. And quite honestly, the more people I talk to with the shows I do, 7 to 8 is like the most common age where things happen. And for me, it was 2 paranormal events at one time that happened. So I was at a friend's house. My mom and dad were upstairs. I was downstairs. They had a pool and darts and whatnot in this basement. previously, we were messing around with the Ouija board. Back then, we board game. We didn't think nothing of spirits or anything like that with the Ouija board. So, so we messed around with one back then, and so I was playing pool, and I happened to catch, like, about 20 feet away, there was a coat rack, whatever, way in the back in the corner. And then I had a TV on the side of the wall that is a manual turn on. There's, like, no remote to turn that on. So, just doing my thing like a normal 8-year-old, 7-year-old would do, is throw darts and play pool by themselves. And next thing you know, the TV turned on by itself. And I'm like, okay. So I just went over and turned it off and unplugged it from the wall, because it's like, I can't come back on then, So, so I thought. And so, so I started initially kind of hurrying up what I was doing. But as I was playing, hurrying up, because I didn't want to leave the room the way messy. I want to leave it the way I found it. And I always felt that this lamp behind me, or coat rack, I can't remember, it's been so long, was moving towards me. I'm like, what the hell? Is this thing like moving close to me? And it dumbfounded me. But at that point, now you're starting to feel like something's there. Something's, messing with you. And so then the TV came on by itself. Again, it was unplugged, but it came back on. Now I'm getting freaked out. But still, I had a mess to clean up yet. So I'm hurrying up, and I know a normal person, when I'd see a TV come back on after you unplug, would be right up the stairs. But as I was going to the end of the pool table, I went back with the pool stick, and I hit something. And I went, what the hell? I turned around, and here it was that lamp standing right next to me. I'm like, that's it, I'm done. Ran upstairs, and that was it.
Well, it doesn't usually take too much to creep out a kid, to be honest. I mean, so that's not uncommon. My first paranormal experience was when I was 3 or 4. And so Gary asks, and I don't know where, we're going to both be speculating on this question. He says, do dowsing rods only work in a person's hands because of the connection to the dust of the ground? Don't know.
I think dowsing rods is more with your energy, with your body. The more you hold them. A friend of mine, Cynthia Gerodius, she was teaching me how to use these. And mine are kind of real loose. They're not like a real thick end piece of... because some dowsing rods are real thick on the end, and mine are just kind of real thin. So you kind of hold on to them, and you're already grounded. And you just turn around and say, hey, show me yes. And it'll either crisscross or grow out, or show me no, same way, crisscross or move their way out. So it's just by you as straight as you can be. It's your energy going into these dowsing rods, I think, is what causes them to move. And then you ask various questions, and, whatever it grabs onto. Because initially, dowsing rods are made to find water, right? Well,
that's not technically water, but they can be used to find anything. There's graves. There's other things. I know that my cousin, I don't know if you've seen the show Moonshiners, but
nope.
Tim Smith actually is a family member, and he actually used dowsing rods to find water. It was 200 feet down, but he found it.
Right.
But yeah, here they use them to find electrical lines. I mean, Evergy here pays people a bunch of money to utilize for dowsers. So whether it's dowsing or what is the other one called? I can't remember it suddenly. But there's two different things. There's they used to call it water witching, where you use a willow rod. And you hold it with 2 hands, and it goes into a V. And I've seen people do that as well. And I mean, it's amazing because they're holding it, and it's straight as a rod, and all of a sudden it just goes, and I'm like, wow, that's weird because they're walking around and then all of a sudden it goes down and they're not moving it because you can see that it's bent
Right.
in a strange way. So,
Yeah, that throw me off for sure. For sure.
well, hello, David. Hey, Crystal. Crystal's my other cousin, and Rex is another show host here on the network. And he asks, we're going to go back to this. If you can answer it again, I'll be grateful. What is your favorite piece of equipment?
So earlier on, we were talking about equipment. I like using my digital voice recorders, but I also, I'll use the apps. I'm not shy about the apps and stuff. And then my other favorite piece I like to use, because it's not used as much, is I like to use my plasma ball. And because I want to get something that no one else can get.
I have a plasma ball too. We've used it. Ron said something when you said that. He goes,
It's hard, but
we used it at Malvern.
I did too.
Charlie House, and we got nothing at either one. Ron,
See, I put it up in the attic.
Yeah, Ron just said, he goes, I wonder if it scares him.
It depends. My friend Chris Nielsen, he was saying it, the amount of energy that these
Hold on a second. Rex is his dad, who's in.
Oh, hey Rex. So I was talking to Chris, and we were going over it and stuff. I was showing him like the specs of the plasma ball I was using, and then also the specs of the Tesla coil I was going to use. And he was saying too that sometimes after a certain amount of wattage or power, it could potentially hurt the spirits. So if you're under a certain amount of wattage and power, you should be okay. So I was like, I felt, I showed him what I had, and he said, no, that should be all right. Shouldn't have no problems. 12 volt plug and all that stuff. So, but he says, yeah, try it, see what happens. It's like, and I did. I threw it up in the attic, and I let it charge for like 40 minutes up in the attic. I think I have a Facebook Live on that too, on the Midwest Ghost Seekers Facebook page. And it was a different vibe from when I started and when I went back up there. And as I played back the audio track and used my ANC headphones, I used that for everything. Except for this, but I caught disembodied voices, knocks. I mean, I'd say the first 26 minutes, it was like knocks and whatnot. But after that, then you started hearing disembodied voices and all other things. People were seeing shadow figures moving around up in there and whatnot. So it definitely charged the spot up. But yeah, it's unique, and like I said, I want to see a spirit put their hands on that thing and light that sucker up,
I understand. And we've got David Glidden. He asks us,
hey, Dave.
If you could only visit one location for the rest of the year, which location would it be, and why would it be the 1858 Garnett House? For me, it's because it's close. It's only 45 minutes away. But
oh man, I want to get back to Malvern. Definitely want to get back to Malvern. There's just so much stuff there that I want to do.
How many times have you been there?
Once.
Okay. It's one of our favorite places.
I mean, I haven't been to the Axe Murder House too, and that's another location I want to get to. So, but I'll be going back to Iowa in October.
Yeah, I already told you about.
Yep.
Listen, if you go there, you have to book it overnight. Otherwise, you get 20 minutes, and you got to give her $10 cash. And it's just not worth it anymore. I mean, it used to be great. You used to be able to pay your money and go in there and visit with the spirits for a couple hours.
That's what I heard. Yeah, back in the days.
Now you can't. And it was different when Darwin was alive.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot better when Darwin was alive. It wasn't, you didn't hear all the time that this is my retirement program.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand Martha. I understand her very well. And we get along great, but I would not go there for a day tour anymore. We won't.
Yeah, that's the only way I would do it. Is I mean, I know Cynthia has told me it's like, yeah, you should go if you get close, go for a day tour, and just bring your digital voice recorder, and even though
They
if
don't
it's
allow you to do that anymore.
oh, you're not even allowed to bring stuff in anymore.
You can only take pictures, and there's somebody with you the whole time.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't oversee all of that, huh?
No, Johnny's not there. She's got other tour guides.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He's just next door.
Oh.
He's doing all the stuff that Johnny does. So he's really big into a lot of different things now.
Yeah.
So, and Gary asks, have you used the Echo Box?
The Echo Box, is that a?
It's an app.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I use Necrophonics. I use Spirit Talker, which is has a word base in it, but where I've used it, it has correlated with the location, so it's worked for me. And then I have Spiritus is the other app I use, and plus the what is it? I'm trying to think what it is. The FLIR. I have the FLIR.
Okay. So you have a FLIR, and
Yeah.
those are interesting, especially. You bet you can see the cold air coming in your house in the wintertime.
Oh yeah, and it's so many different modes in that one. And the thing is what's nice is that you can also record as you're going with the session that you're doing. So that's a neat thing.
Yeah, they're interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so here, Tina Garcia asks, did the spirit that came through the Ouija board does it continue to bother you to this day?
No, not at all. I mean, that was so long ago, and they sold that house since then. So I really didn't have any ramifications out of that, really. That was just a one-time thing that just happened. I was at the right place at the right time for a paranormal event to happen to me, But ever since then, no, nothing like anything has come through. No attachments or anything like that. So
you've never had an attachment since then?
Nope.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So, do you guys do residentials?
Have not yet. I actually asked a friend of mine if I could go along once when they do one, just so I can see what their process is of going through a residence, and because I know that you have when you do a residence versus a commercial place, you have to treat it differently because now you're there to help the family out. It's not there just to like these other places like Malvern or an Axmer House. You're there to do your thing, have a little fun at some point. But with residences, you can't, because now a family's dependent on you. You got to find what's going on in their house and tell them the truth. You can't BS them and anything like that in any kind of way, because you can't just leave them hanging.
No.
So whether it takes you a week.
On that one.
What's that?
You heard me last week on that one. It was like, if I'm going in there with a purpose, and I'm taking, if I can take care of it all right then and there, I am. I'm not going to drag it out for weeks.
Right. I mean, for me, if it may take, some houses could take up to a week or a month, depending on what kind of answers you get out of it. Because whatever bits and pieces of information you get out of it, now you got to try and make sense of what's going on. And then you got to figure, okay, is it this room that's where it's all happening? Or is it this part of the house that's where it's happening? So you got to find out, because you don't know if they might have portals in their house that maybe you have to shut a portal down. Now, for me to shut a portal down, that's not my take. So at that point, I would have to get somebody that knows how to do that to bring it in to do so. Because, like I said, I can't leave. If I can't figure it out, then I'm going to refer them to somebody else that can do a better job and help them out that way. Because they just, like I said, you can't leave them hanging. So
Ron asks, I know it says Pride More Paranormal, but I kind of know who the person is. No, I'm married to him. What kind of evidence did you get at Malvern?
Malvern, oh man, a lot of it was personal. Especially so where the Shadow Man comes out, way at the end on the left-hand side, or however you're facing, but the last bathroom, or whatever you want to call it, in that room there, I know that there's a lady that likes to sit in there and cry for help and whatnot, because she's she has tormented a friend of mine through
Are you talking about the room with the lady that had Tikka mania?
Because there's 2 bathrooms, right? Close by. Yeah, it's one way at the end. Way at the end of the hall.
First floor.
First floor. Yep.
Yeah, first floor.
It's right across from the Shadow Man's room.
Okay, so it's at the other end. It's at the okay. I know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know which one that would be.
So that lady in there torments a friend of mine from REP Paranormal a lot, and so we went in there. Me, Taylor, Emmett. We were in there for a little while, and I have the Tesla coil that we used, which Raven Rose Paranormal has that because they do a lot more investigating than I do with opportunities. So I'm like, just keep this with you guys and just use it when you can, And so he climbed in the tub. This is Taylor. He climbed in the tub. We had the Tesla coil on top of the tub at the end there, and it was interesting. The mood in the room changed. I mean, dramatically changed because the energy it's feeding off the Tesla coil. But as we were talking and asking questions, because I had the digital voice recorder, I had a K2 going. Emmett had a camera going at one point, and it was just he started moving closer and closer and closer to the Tesla coil. I'm like, why are you moving so close to this thing? And it was drawing him in. So at that point, then Cynthia came in and it's like, hey, you need to get out. You need to take a break. Because he got all weird. And then she got in the tub. And with her, she can hear voices, the spirits talking to her and stuff like that. So for me, that's a big opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with the spirit that's in the room, going through her. So same instance, it just got kind of weird. And then she started to move closer and closer, but she didn't get as close as Taylor did. And at one point, even I think Emmett's camera turned off. So nothing came off the K2, but just that personal experience of that going on was very interesting.
I wonder how much of that is related to the fact that the tub is cast iron.
It might.
Because, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is there's certain places where there's high EMF, and it's due to iron. And so, like, the tub being cast iron is a problem. The old beds are, like in a couple of the bedrooms, there's still some bed springs in there, and there's high EMF in those springs, but there's no, it's not a spirit that's doing it, it's the springs. Because we have the same issue at Ashmore Estates, where there's old springs in the bed. It's just one of those things that people don't think about, that there could be EMF in the metal.
Yeah, and I didn't do any EMF sweeps in her. I went in, let's try this out, see how this experiment goes. And he was affected big time by that thing because it made him just be all really tired and weird. And I tried to talk to him, a couple months after, 3 weeks to a month afterwards. I said, you want to talk about your experience with this? He was not yet. It took him a long time to start talking about it. So it does a lot of something to you.
Yeah, one of the things that people don't understand is that high EMF can make you feel weird.
And hallucinations as well. Right.
And so how much of that was related to the fact that you guys had a Tesla coil in there that may have been reacting off the iron in the tub? And then if you had done it in a different room, would it have done the same thing? Without the different, just a different setting. So that would be something I would check out the next time you go, is do an experiment in there again and do an EMF sweep of the bed and the tub and make sure that it's, do I know that tub's cast iron? Right off the top of my head, no, I don't remember that one. I know that one of them is upstairs, but I don't remember about those other ones. I would think that they would be.
Yeah.
The timing. Because most bathtubs prior to the 70s was made of cast iron. That's why nobody wanted to replace their bathtubs.
Right.
600 pounds. So we do have another question in here from Tina Garcia. She asks, have either of us investigated the Garden of Eden in Lucas, Kansas? No, nope. I haven't. I didn't even know it existed.
I haven't been to Kansas yet. At least a tornado hasn't taken me there yet.
Yeah, like Ron said, he's never heard of it. And, one of the places that somebody brought up on one of the shows was in Hutchinson, Kansas. It was like, yeah, I've been there. Never heard of that place. But, we're in...
What's this one's claim?
I don't know. You'd have to look it up. So... But, yeah, I've never been there. And we'll have to figure that one out. See if it's...
Definitely like to get to Kansas, though.
So, and then Gary asks, what did you pick up in the attic at Malvern?
So, the attic is kind of funky. It can be kind of funky. So... Like I said, it was my first time there, and actually that night we do paranormal challenges sometimes because I joke around with that and chat a lot when I go into Facebook Lives. I was like, hey, your Facebook challenge is this. Well, they told me, okay, well the Facebook challenge is you gotta sleep up in the attic by yourself all night long. But that ended up not happening because it was so hot that I couldn't do it. So it was about 3:30, I want to say. Maybe later in the day. So no one was investigating. I'm like, why isn't anybody investigating? We're here for I don't know how many hours. So screw it. I'm going to go investigate. So, sorry. I went by myself. And I went up there. And I had the digital voice recorder. And I went live before I did the plasma ball and stuff. So I was live up there. It should be on the Midwest Ghost Seekers webpage as well. And... just sitting up there for an hour and a half, talking away, see if I can bring number one out, because that's one of the main spirits there is number one. And
who is that? I've never heard that.
Yeah, but it was quiet, really, really quiet. But I think it's just because it was earlier in the evening. There was light outside, and a lot of traffic going on. So it was. I think it was probably confusing for the spirit as to I'm up there, all this other stuff is going on. He was just wanted to be quiet.
Yeah, I've never heard number one. Oh, I just know that there is a spirit up there who's told me his name is Richard.
Okay.
And that was related to some stuff I knew about family in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was actually a handyman that worked there during between the 50s and the 70s.
Okay.
I don't remember what his last name was, but I haven't been there. When did we go last? 2019?
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
But and with the attic, at that point when I got done, I'm like, that's when I'm like, okay, let's take the plasma ball there, plug it up, leave the room for a half hour, 40 minutes, whatever, and just see what changes happen. If the mood of the room change. So, and at that point, we went back up there. I brought my friend Taylor with me, and he's like, yeah, the room does feel a little bit different. I think I had a few of the girls up there too, and Allison Robinson came up, and she's like, yeah, this feels different up here. It's definitely more, chest heavy of stuff going on. But, and at that point, I don't think I went back up there the rest of the night after that, because I wanted to investigate so many other rooms. So there, it's so with it being 10,000 square feet, there's so much there to investigate. It's impossible to get to it all in one night.
Oh yeah, that's why we've been 4 times.
Yeah. So we went into Gracie's room. That's funky room. Stinks.
Yeah, urine tends to do that. Same as mold.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we had a guy that went in there, and he kind of got a little bit molested in there.
I got touched.
So.
Yeah, she's definitely she put her hand down my face because I was laying on her cot or on her bed, and I'm like, God, this is feeling pretty comfortable. I says, if you feel like you want to come and touch me. Come and touch me if you feel like it. Well, I felt the tap on my shoe. And then next thing you know, I felt the thing coming down my face, like some lady's touching me in the face. I'm like, okay, this is getting weird.
Have you ever been hurt by a spirit?
No.
Lucky you.
No.
Lucky you.
Well, I don't provoke.
Neither do
I probably antagonize more so, but I try to do things tactfully. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm not going to sit there and scream and swear at the spirit or whatnot. I'm not going to do that. It's more or less just tactfully, a little bit of aggressiveness, maybe sometimes, depending on where I'm at. Some places you need to be aggressive a little bit, like if you're in a prison, and you want to kind of like act like you're a security guard, just to wild them up a little bit. But there again, not to be, disrespectful in any kind of way, because you're just asking for it if you're going to be that way, in my opinion.
I'll tell you, I wish I had been disrespectful. I'd have deserved everything I've gotten, but I've been marked, and that's it. I get it almost everywhere we go now.
No.
So.
I haven't been scratched yet. I've been punched twice, so.
Yeah, I've been scratched way more times than I can count, and the bulk of it's been in Atchison. The last time was just at the McIntyre Villa. I got scratched there. It is what it is. I'm just used to it anymore. The only place I haven't been scratched has been McPike Mansion.
That's true.
So
I haven't had a location scare me yet.
no, I've never been scared by any location.
I've been to Farrar School. Farrar is a very cool place to go investigate. I had to do my first solo investigation there. Another paranormal challenge, because I do it to REP a lot. But I had to sit in the coal chute in the boiler room by myself. Did that for 45 minutes, and I had a body cam, and I thought, let's get that fired up. Let's see what I can catch in the body cam. And everything was going okay. And next thing I know, well, I should say, after I got done, I tried to play back the footage in the body cam. I was like, why did this not work? Number one, don't forget your little cards that you put in those things, because I did. I was so mad. I'm like, dang it.
Well, when things happen.
Yeah, but I got excited. I get excited, and sometimes I miss putting these little cards in them, SD cards in them. Yeah, I get too excited. I'm like, even my wife's like, just calm down. I was like, I can't. I'm like a little kid in the candy store because I'm just so excited to investigate. It's like I don't know what to do first. So it's like I have to do a calming down period.
Okay, so we've got about 7 minutes till our break.
Okay.
And Lori says the spirit changed her personality in the Ed Gein cell. Where is that?
Again, that's at the Washoe County Historical Museum. Ed Gein was housed there for 4 days. In that jail cell, another team, We Are Paranormal, they have the trigger objects of Ed Gein. So he has the actual knife that he used to murder the lady in the warehouse. Mm-hmm. And then he also has his rifles in there. So we were allowed to handle those things and hold them and whatnot. So I've been, like I said, I get calm. I'm calm when I'm investigating. And Lori's seen me how I investigate. When I got to the jail part, I came unglued. I came unhooked. I was more aggressive than I normally am. And I was calling out for Ed Gein's mom, Augusta. And I was kind of calling her out because, I went off the rails. I was not myself for a while because I was a different person. Even Cynthia, she's like, yeah, you're different in there. So, and there's a few other people that seen the video footage that can tell that the way how I normally am, and when I got in that jail, I was completely different. So when I held the knife, it was making my throat close up a little bit. So I put the knife down. I don't know. I guess I got snotty. If Lori wants to put it that way, I got snotty.
Well, we all get that way every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I get kind of like that at not snotty. I get really mad when we're at the Velisca Axe Murder House.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm channeling the mother, and I'm just irritated, or because I'm a mother, I'm mad.
Right.
I have no clue, but it's one of those things that I always wonder, why do I get so upset during that time that we're there? And like I said, it lasts for about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not great. So, you know what? Hey, Carl, let's go ahead and do our commercials now, because I got somebody who's needing my attention here. So, hey guys, listen to these commercials. Let me know what you think, and we'll be back in about about 6 or 7 minutes. So, go for it, guys. Enjoy.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Cox Cemetery. We will be here live July the 30th for the Paranormal Giving Tree. So you'll have to stay tuned to the Bill of Rights Network on Facebook to find out more. But we're going to be live out here, and you're going to have to watch, because we're going to have some special guests live on here that night. Denise and Ron Pridemore will be live on here with us. Possibly have Joe Citrone on here, and others could be coming on. But I'm just showing you the cemetery that we take care of and mow, and that we do investigations, because there is a lot of stuff that has been seen and reported out here. So watch us July 30th. We should start being live around, say, 8 o'clock at night. And this is all. Any veterans that want to come out with us, contact me on the Bill of Rights Network. We're located south of Hamilton, Missouri. So, a lot of good. See the tree here? Big old limb busted out of it. We got to get this cut down and out of here. That headstone right there, that is my great, great, great grandfather that started this cemetery. So, other ones you have to check. If I lose signal and this goes off, it'll be because of this headstone right here. So check it out. Notice an American flag somebody placed around a tombstone of an unknown Indian. So, be with us again, July 30th on the Bill of Rights Network, on Things Network, for the Paranormal Giving Tree investigation. There'll be several of them all day long. But join us. We're going to have a live virtual investigation with several paranormal people on here helping us investigate this and see what we can come up on. Again, I want to thank you very much. Join the Bill of Rights Network, Things Network, and keep following us. Have a good evening, and we'll return you back to the show. Hello, folks. I'm Carl, known as the Wizard of Odd, over here on the Bill of Rights Network. This is going to be a special commercial that will be showed on all the shows. See this flag behind me? The Second Amendment flag. We're going to be giving this away on almost all our shows. So you'll have to tune in to the Bill of Rights Network, see what time the shows are there, and enter to win one of these Second Amendment flags. So everybody tune in. We have a lot of them in stock. They'll be sent to you just like this. They're 3 foot by about 5 foot flags, seen on both sides. As you see behind me, it's on both sides. So I've got it hanging up over my green screen right now. But check out the shows over there and watch and see which shows are giving this flag away. So tell all your friends, anybody that wants a Second Amendment flag to hang proudly. Watch our shows. You have a good evening, and I will return you to the show you're watching. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rex.
And I'm Shane.
We have a new show on the Bill of Rights Network. It is called Music, Movies, and Maybe More.
We explore bands that we've heard of that a lot of people haven't, that we feel like you should know about.
And we do the same with movies. There's a lot of movies out there that we know about that other people should know about as well.
And as for the maybe more part, you never know what else we can come up with.
So, on the Bill of Rights Network, every Saturday night, live at 7 p.m. Central Time, Music, Movies, and Maybe More will be on. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you there. Now we'll return you back to Paranormal Pride and Denise Pridemore.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your time away. And we're going to be playing commercials at the top of the hour most every time now. So you guys can run off and get a drink, come back. That way you can even hit the potty if you have to. So, or maybe do a little mini paranormal investigation during that time.
Yep. Yep. I got my 2 Mountain Dews.
Not allowed to have caffeine anymore.
Oh.
That's so for those of you wondering, I've been checking my watch because it's a heart monitor watch and my heart's been kind of acting a little weird. So I'm just trying to keep track and make sure I'm not dead. Yeah, not dead, but that I don't need to go to the hospital for something.
Right. And that would not be good that you fall down in your chair after a show or during the show.
Yeah, we interrupt this show to take Denise to the ER. I'm like, no, that would not be good.
No, it would not be good.
So, people talk to me all the time about, because you're involved in the paranormal, is that the reason why you're so sick? And I'm like, no, it is not the reason. It's not bad breeding. We're going to have to buy a muzzle for something. We all know who that is going to be. So, but
That's
yeah.
funny.
But I mean, there are a lot of people out there that do ask those kind of questions. They just assume that every illness you have is because you're affiliated with, the Sally House or some other dark location or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I don't have, at least I don't have to explain that anymore. I spent years telling somebody, no, it's not that. I'm just sick. Leave me alone.
Right.
So, but I'm not saying it can't happen,
Oh, I'm sure there's places where somebody gets sick almost at that location all the time, but then you go somewhere else and they're fine.
Well,
It could just be the location.
well, I will tell you, I have gotten an illness related to mold
Mhm.
from got it. I think I got it at the Sally House and messed up with by the Ashmore Estates.
Oh, okay.
Hospital, all kinds of stuff. So, yes, the location itself made me sick, not the spirits.
Right.
So, just
I mean, unless you got a possession going on, then I could see where you could possibly get sick if you're got a possession going on.
and I don't think that happens that often.
No, not really.
I think it's more rare than what people want to believe.
Hmm.
So,
I agree. I think it's a very small percentage of people being possessed.
how often do you think it really is a demon? Even less than a possession?
2%,
Yeah.
2%, 4%. It all depends. You get locations that people say this is a dark, devilish place, and there's a demon there, and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, let's eliminate the demon stuff because I'm not interested in the demon stuff. It's you go in there with your, like I said before, it's all about intent. And if you're going with good positive vibes and stuff like that, then it's gonna be a good investigation. But if you're going with bad vibes and crazy stuff in your mind or whatever you're thinking that day, maybe you shouldn't go investigate that day. You know,
That's true. If you're not 100%, you shouldn't go. I mean, we were supposed to go on one recently at Ashmore Estates. And I told Ron, I said, something's keeping me from going there again. And I don't know what it is, but because of all this stuff that I'm dealing with right now, just started.
right?
Like a month ago tomorrow.
Mm.
So, needless to say, I wasn't feeling up to it.
Right.
And all you're doing is putting yourself in danger.
Yeah.
If you do that, whether it's from the spirits, the weather, the conditions at the location, it doesn't matter. Something, or even just being that far away from home. It's not always the best idea. And so your mind, regardless of what you think, is on that thing that's bothering you. You know,
Right.
if we had went, my mind would have been on the whole time would have been on, is the heat making me feel like this? Do I need to go to the ER? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And what's worse than going someplace and then being in an ER at a strange town where nobody you know's at?
I mean, at some point you start to feel like you're trapped, and you can't get out of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
you
so
don't want to be at a place if you feel like you're being trapped.
Right. And that was kind of what I did myself. I just told Ron, I said, I just can't go. And it was the right decision.
Right.
For not only me, but for everybody else. So let's see. Let me see. Lorna's got a comment up here. Let me see it. Lorna says, I had a spirit at the foot of my bed at the Naval Testing Facility in Patuxent River, Maryland. That sounds interesting. I'm actually from Baltimore. I know where the Patuxent River facilities are. And
so was it there just watching you laying there, or was it trying to talk to you, or were you in a really bad state that spirit decided to come out? Because that could happen sometimes too. They know if you're in a bad state, they'll come out, and just watch you.
Yep, and wait for you to even be less
be vulnerable.
Yeah, I was going to say more vulnerable or less focused. So, and April says that she agrees that a person has to be marked and prepared for possession. They can only possess like humans to the spirit, and that's her opinion.
Yeah. So, I think if you leave yourself open and don't ground yourself, you go to a location knowing that the spirits like to latch on to people, I think you're definitely opening yourself up to be there's 3 states of possession, I believe. And you may only get to the first stage, but still, if you open yourself up to that and not guard yourself where you're at, anything can happen.
I believe it's obsession, oppression, possession.
Yeah.
Nothing like rhyming words to really get you all confused.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I was told by somebody on TV that I was being oppressed by spirits. And it's like, no. I was obsessed. I knew that, but I wasn't being oppressed. So, and obsession can take on many forms.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure
not
can.
all of them are negative. Obsession sometimes may look negative, but there's a reason for it usually. There is something that's driving you to be obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's mine. That's how mine was. Is that everybody's? Not always. So,
Yeah.
So,
and who knows? Maybe I was obsessed when I was in the jail cell. Who knows? But it was funky.
So here's what she says. She goes, he just stood there. I was probably open based on my spiritual beliefs.
That could be.
So that area is strange anyway. I mean,
if you watch Haunted Hospitals, and they talk about all that stuff, and hospice and weird things come out of people when they're in hospice, and they see all sorts of things and can't explain it.
Yeah. Well, that part of Maryland is weird anyway. You've got the Aberdeen Proving Grounds. It's not far from there. And hey, Carl, are you there? Hey, Ron, can you come over here? I need my husband to take over for a minute.
Sure.
What happened?
No.
Okay, Denise had to take a break. So, Ron will be here.
Hey, Ron.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Kicking back and listening to your show.
So you have any questions for me, Ron?
We need to get up to Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's quite a few places. They got the Sheboygan Asylum, which is a big hitter, which has been on TV a few times. The Washington County Historical Museum, where I've investigated, is a great place. Let's see. We have the Grand Opera House here in Oshkosh, but I'm trying to get in there, but I'm kind of getting like the no vibe. The last time I talked to the lady, she was going to charge me $70 an hour.
Wow.
So I'm like, no, I'm going to pass. But yeah, there's a few places in Wisconsin. The Kettle Moraine is a funky place. I've been down there. Not a big Bigfoot guy, but I heard that Bigfoot's supposed to be down there. And then I heard that up way north of Wisconsin, there's supposed to be werewolves. So bring your silver bullet if you go up north.
Well, I'll be having Jay on. He can talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Come on in a few weeks. So
You watch the show called Fright Club?
Fight Club? I think Brad Pitt, right?
No,
No, Fright.
Fright. Oh, Fright Club. I'm sorry. That's a Fight Club. No, I have not.
It's funny.
Yeah, it is.
And the Ghost Brothers. And,
I've watched them.
Yeah.
They're good. They're funny.
They had one the other night. Saturday. The last show. They had a really good one. It was a Bigfoot. This lady was just kind of out, I guess, with her husband, and it threw a rock at her, and it actually shows the thing, picking up a rock and kind of slinging its sidearm at him.
Jeez.
It's probably some of the best evidence I've seen of a Bigfoot, anyway.
Yeah, we've heard we got some sort of creature down in I want to say by the Madison area, which is called Bray Road.
Yeah,
Briar
Road.
Briar.
Yeah, that was on Josh Gates' show.
Yeah. And
Well, the expedition.
and Jay's got a movie about the
Yeah.
East of Bray Road. He's on it every single day, and Linda lives
Getting
just
all purdied up.
huh?
Oh.
What?
Oh, he's messing with the cat.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta go back
all
over
right.
there.
See ya.
Sorry,
Nice talking to you, Ron.
my daughter. I've only been doing this show for 7.5 years, and for some reason, she can't seem to recall that I do this until 9 o'clock
Oh,
every Monday night for 7 years. I mean, it's not like it's changes, but
that happens. That's all right.
so. But thank you, Carl. So, but yeah, I'm going to be having Jay Bakachin on the end of the month.
Hmm?
The end of August, and he'll be talking about.
Does he know him?
I don't
Do you
know.
know, Jay?
Do you know Jay? Finding Jay?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
I figured you did.
Yep. I think I probably saw his video on Amazon Prime. I think.
Yeah, he's got a new film coming out at the end of August. I'm having a month problems here. The end of August, and he's going to be talking about that when he comes on.
Okay.
So I'm going to be doing a series of in August about is it safe to go back in the woods?
Mhm.
So Carter Bouchard is going to be on, and he's one of the guys that's going to be at the the Haunting History Paranormal Conference in Joplin, Missouri.
Okay.
He was telling me about beast sightings by my house. So I'm kind of interested to find out more about that because I've only seen one thing that I can't explain.
Mm-hmm.
As far as crypto monsters go, alien stuff. Have you ever witnessed any alien type stuff?
No, not really. Except for what I see on Caught on Paranormal or Paranormal Caught on Tape.
Oh yeah.
And then a friend of mine actually, he has one of his videos on there. So, and that was pretty cool. He's all into alien stuff, and he's owner of Beyond Paranormal, Nick Daly. So he's a very cool guy too to have on when you get time. Definitely great guy, but yeah, he's got a video up there of some alien stuff. So
I know, like I've told you this prior. I know somebody who's been abducted at least 9 times, and I'm like, and I'm holding out for the Pleiadians, okay, people. I don't want no reptilians. I don't want any bug people. I don't want any grays. I'm holding out for the Pleiadians. The ones that want to see us do well, want to make us healthy. So that's the way I'm seeing it. So, because I mean, it's just like with Bigfoot. We hear that Bigfoot exists, and you got some people out there hunting for Bigfoot with a stick against a tree and giving them apples and leaving them stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got people down in Mississippi with guns hunting him down like he's stole their children and ate them. You know, so should I be scared of Bigfoot, or should I say, oh, here's your picnic basket. You know, you and Yogi can go share it. You know,
Bigfoot is just one of those things. I just can't get into it. There's some radio shows that I've listened to on Paranormal Buzz Radio, small plug. And they had some shows on there too where this guy had a Bigfoot hand. You know, he caught it, chopped it off, and he had it in a freezer and whatnot. There was friends of mine in the South that they go out and knock it on trees and have the super ears and try to hear them and whatnot and do the calls and all that stuff. And so they hunt him down there in the Georgia area. So, but like I said, I just can't get into it. I mean, yeah, I guess they got families, they got little kids, they vary in size from 7 feet tall 11 feet tall to as little as 5 feet tall, I guess. But I don't know. To me, it's just a little far-fetched. But then again, if it happens right in front of my face, then I'll be a believer, you know. But at this point in time, I kind of pass on it.
I find
Like us, you hadn't
I-
seen enough evidence. Good
Yeah.
evidence.
so. See, my original show was going to be, Bigfoot, fact and fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Not fact or fiction. Tell me what the facts are. Tell me what the fictions are. Fiction is, so that I can make a decision on what I believe. And it just didn't work out. I can't get all three people together again like I had scheduled back in April. So
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. So I'm just going to do this series and yeah. And you know what? People are out there in the woods right now. I want to see the living daylights out of them.
Well, here's the thing too of the woods that people don't really talk about is the stairs in the woods, mysterious stairs in the woods. That you can walk up these stairs and lead to nowhere, but yet it seems like if you walk into it, you walk into a portal. And then they find you. I've heard things where they find you dead like 5 miles away from where you were.
Huh.
But yeah, mysterious stairs in the woods. That's another thing to look out for. I heard it kind of happens to people when they're like walk 5 miles into the woods.
Oh, so they get disoriented.
Yeah.
So how do they know if they died that that's what happened?
That's just some of the reports I hear that some have died and some just wound up somewhere else and not knowing what happened, and so it's a confusing story because there's not a whole lot of ledger behind it.
Yeah, because it sounds to me like it could be.
Doppelganger thing. You can't.
Yeah, doppelganger. Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
always.
I've experienced a doppelganger effect.
But the thing is you're still alive.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. If you see your own doppelganger, are you going to live? Or are you going to die? Well, guess what? We're all going to die.
At some point, yeah.
How wrong can it be? It's just
Right.
you make it sound like you're going to die in a couple hours. You
Yeah.
know? And I don't know. There's so many.
Anything can happen in the woods. Who knows? You could walk into the Blair Witch. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you guys, Blair Witch is fake.
I know. When I was little, I swear to God, that thing was real. And I'm like, geez, that thing messed me up. And I was like, now you look at back and you just laugh at yourself, you know?
Well, the thing is we had people that tried to come to me and tell me, oh, this is all true. And it's like, no, it's not. I was a teenager in Maryland at supposedly this time.
Mm-hmm.
Anything existed back then. Where do you think we would have been every weekend?
Right.
We'd been out there trying to find this witch. There's no, and that movie ruined the town of Burkittsville, Maryland, because there's
I
people
bet.
out there looking for this thing that never existed. And there's some people that bought into it so much that they ended up on some TV show talking about the Blair Witch. And it's like, I'm sorry, but it's
Yeah,
Bel
those
Air.
kids made a fortune off that movie.
Right. But the thing is in Maryland, we don't have Blair. We have Bel Air.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there listening to all this stuff and just getting really irritated about all of it. You know, you want to see something good, go to, around the Aberdeen Proving Grounds and see what you're going to come up with there. Because of the fact that that's where all the experiments went after World War I and World War II from Germany and other places. Where do you think? They had to take them all somewhere. They didn't all go to Area 51. They didn't all go to Wright-Patterson. Aberdeen Proving Ground is one of the places that they went. And a friend of mine wrote a book about this wild man by the Proving Ground. And it was really interesting to hear him talk about it. And those of you know Frank Bennett that's on the network. And he's been on my show quite a few times. And he talks about that. And the thing is that's not the only thing that's out there. There's more things out there that we can't explain, all related to the Proving Grounds, to the naval base in Patuxent. And Aberdeen and Patuxent are right next to each other. And you can't, that's a no-fly zone over top of, Aberdeen. You can't even boat in, where it's right on the bay. You can't go past a certain point. If you do, you're getting arrested.
No, I believe it.
They're still hiding stuff there, just like they are in Area 51, Area 52, and all the other areas that they don't want us to know about. Because, it didn't stop at 52. So keep that in mind, people. And, and there's all these things out there that we as just people, not investigators, but we as people are never going to know what truly is out there, and
Right.
we're going to and I'm with you. I have a hard time believing that Bigfoot exists because you'd think that there'd be something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Now, I've heard of the Mothman has. Now, the Mothman type deal, I kind of more believe in because there's such a big thing about that, too. And that supposedly has made its presence in Chicago already.
yeah, I heard that, and I've heard that for years. And TV's got a lot of these TV shows have decided not to follow that.
Mm-hmm. I think there's even something, a clip on Paranormal Caught on Tape with the shadow in the sky and all that stuff. And so, but like I said, until you experience it firsthand, it's hearsay.
Yeah, it's easy to write off until you
Mhm.
experience. Because I would love to. I mean, I have talked to Travis Walton, and his abduction story is amazing. He's never wavered, and he believes this all happened to him. Do I believe that he believes this happened to him?
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's still, like you said, it's still hearsay. It's his word, not mine. And I find it interesting only because of the fact that his story never changed.
Mm-hmm. And that's key, because once you start fraying from the story, then it's, you can't go back. Another person I told you about yesterday, R. Keith Andrews. He's been abducted. I can never say that word right. Abducted by aliens over 1,000 times. So now it could be more at this point, but how far is too far?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm doubting him one bit, but I mean, if he can account for every time he's been up there, what's been done to him, what they're trying to do, get more answers, what they're trying to do with Earth and all that stuff. Okay, now you got some accountability there.
Yeah.
But to say throw out a number 1,000 times, you start scratch your head.
Yeah. And how can you prove it?
Right.
So it just makes you wonder how accurate our memories are of all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I thought. Tina, you're talking about Concordia, Kansas. I can tell you, I've been to Salina.
Concordia?
Yeah, you've been there for work. Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
World War II, German POWs were taken to Concordia, Kansas as well. The Grand Brown Theater there has lots of paranormal from them. So, been to Abilene, Kansas, a lot of times, but not for the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
For Greyhound stuff. We used to own Greyhounds.
I want to go to Topeka, Kansas for the tornadoes.
Well, they're all over. You don't have to go there. You can go almost anywhere in Iowa.
I know. Topeka is where the most are per year, per se, is what
We've had none
last
here.
record I saw. But
4 or 5.
I'm a big tornado guy. I like
I
watching
would
that stuff.
say if you really want to see paranormal activity or see tornadic activity, Atchison, Kansas has more flooding and tornadoes than almost anywhere else, as far as that goes. But you can just go to North Kansas City.
Yeah.
And see stuff. So
And you're right. Iowa gets a lot too.
they've gotten everything this year. They've gotten the rain. They've gotten another derecho. They've got all kinds of other stuff. So,
Yeah.
and Oklahoma gets a lot of tornadoes. But if you're going to do it, make sure you have bulletproof car.
Yeah, I want to get together with Reed Timmer and go a week with him.
Because the hail,
Yeah.
the hail is horrible.
Yeah, softball size hail. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of that. Yeah.
I've lucked out. The biggest I think we've seen has been $50 size, and driving on it sucks.
Oh, yeah. You don't know if it's going to come through the windshield.
Well, I was driving home from work one day, and it started hailing where I was at. And, and I was like driving on marbles.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought driving on ice was bad, but driving on that was worse.
I can believe it.
Because I mean, it's moving under
Well,
you.
yeah, you're moving under the wheels. Yeah, you have no grip then when you have to suddenly stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the most unlikely thing that you believe in?
Unlikely thing that I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, I believe in spirits, ghosts, spirits. I believe in all that stuff because I've had so much interaction with it from young to now. That's something that I know is there for a fact. Is there another side? I think there is another side. I don't think that when we pass on that, immediately go to heaven, and all that stuff. I think there's another side. So I think you get a second chance in life, roaming around, except for you don't need gas. You can just
Thank God, can't afford it then.
you can go wherever you want, and explore. That's pretty extent of where I kind of like Bigfoot, cryptids, that sort of stuff. That's just not my forte,
Yep.
But yeah, I'm mostly with the spirits and all that stuff, and
I want more, everything. I want more proof. Have you had a family member pass and then come visit you?
I did actually. We were at for our school, and so it was kind of interesting because Cynthia and me and my wife were in the schoolroom, and I started. Let's see, she was doing. Gotta make sure I do this right. Yeah, she was doing the Estes. And so that was her first time of doing the Estes method. She was sitting up saying words and stuff, and next thing you know, I says, "Is there anybody here that I know?" Blah blah blah. And Bill comes through. I'm like, "Bill." I'm like, "Yeah, it's my Uncle Bill." And then I started asking more questions that pertain to what he used to do in life, like he's a carpenter, he was a bowler, and stuff like that. And I just started asking questions like that to see if it was actually him that came through.
Yeah.
And it was. It was like, yeah, bowling was his thing, and built his own house and all that stuff. So that was kind of crazy because I think at that point in time, he was maybe a year and a half past already. So, but yeah, that's the only family member that's come through. So that's been a couple years since that's happened now. So, but
do you talk to your family members about when they pass, maybe something to tell you when they come back, like a keyword?
I usually don't say anything about the paranormal around my family a lot. They don't get into that stuff. So I kind of don't really talk about it much. I mean, I've had conversations with my mom and stuff like that about the paranormal. Explained to her that it's not everything is evil. Not everything we do is evil. We don't go and do satanic stuff like a lot of people want to make out that we do what we do. And I'm trying to explain to her that this is how we go about things. It's not what you think it is. So I kind of have put her at ease, I think, a little bit as to, knowing that I do all this stuff, that it doesn't, she doesn't hound me about it. So, it's one of those things. I just don't bring it up as much around there. So
we have a question from Barbara. She asks, so do spirits have unfinished business?
I think they do, yes. It depends also on as far as how they died, I think. If it's a tragic death, and sometimes they're not even aware that they're dead, you know. I think they move on about this earth knowing, thinking that they're still alive and they're going to go do something and they're going to go do it, you know. And depending what the location and what association they have with that location, sure, I think it's unfinished business that they have and try to get the most out of what they got. So as much as how we go on our investigation and ask them all these questions, I turn around and flip the script. I'm like, do you have any questions for me? What do you want to know about me? You know, what can I do to help you? Do you need to be passed on, passed over? Is there something that you want me to bring to the location that helps you at ease as to that you are here? You know. So most definitely, I think they do, and some could just come back just for that one time to talk to a family member and say, hey, I'm okay. Things are going fine. I think it's time for me to move on, you know? So it could be just that last bit of information.
So, and we have Tina. She asks, or she says, I was in Geneva, Illinois for a few days for business and felt like she was smothered by spirits. Is there a history you've investigated there for the paranormal, Darin?
Could be a history. It all depends on you as to what, if you're being smothered by all those spirits, they must want to just really interact and want to get to know who you are, because you're probably just excited to see you as you are maybe excited to see them, or feel them, and it could be. Absolutely. I haven't. Now, was it Lake Geneva? She said.
Geneva, Illinois.
Geneva. I've been to Lake Geneva, but I don't. Does that count?
I have no clue. Barbara, she says that her dad passed, knowing that she was coming over that day, and he passed before I could come and say goodbye. And she goes, I smell his cologne a lot. As a matter of fact, right now, I got a smell of it. Barbara, your dad was afraid to tell you goodbye. And a lot of people are afraid to say goodbye because they think that it's forever at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and don't be alarmed by you smelling that. That's just letting him know that he's there, you know, and that's what you remember a lot of him. So just take it as a compliment that he's there by you.
So, luckily, most of my guests, or everybody here knows that if I've got something to say, I'm going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your opinion on the games? I don't know what that is. So, what are your plans for the future?
So my plans for the future is do more experiments, try different things, try and do different things that people don't do a whole lot of. Not just because of, oh, this happened, this is great, I got this to do it and get notoriety and stuff. No, it's just purely for me because I want to see different things work. I go. It's funny because I go to sometimes a toy store, and I see what's all in their toys. Immediately, paranormal investigations come to my head. What can I use this for? Could this be a benefit? You know, does this light up? How does it light up? It's the same thing with what do you call it? Those easels. I forgot what they're called. That's a sketch.
Uh-huh.
I take those along, you know. It's the simplest things that could just blow your mind, you know, and get you excited. Going to more locations, that's another big thing I want to do. Expand my horizons of going to different states and check out different lures and stuff like that. that's just kind of and involve. Be as best of as a universal paranormal investigator I can, and help out as much people as I can. If you got something that's going on in your house and want to give me a shot to try and see what I can do to help you out, by all means, let me. I mean, it's the only bad thing that can come out of it is I don't get what you were looking for, and I get somebody else to help out because I'm not going to leave you hanging. So, you always got to have a backup plan.
Always. So, do you have a paranormal pet peeve?
During EVP sessions, it's nice to be quiet. Not just like if you're gonna say something, at least say or mark it that you're saying something like out of context or bodily functions happen. So if your bodily function happens, note it, say it that it was you that what happened. I'm kind of picky about that because I want to get as clean as an EVP session as I possibly can. But a lot of times that's kind of hard to come by, depending on the location, traffic, stuff like that.
Mexican food for dinner?
Mexican food for dinner, yes. Yes. I haven't eaten yet, so.
That seems to be the food of choice prior to a paranormal investigation.
Yes, absolutely. But then again, you have to have that energy so you can keep going. That's one of the top 5 things to bring along an investigation is food. Keep you energized. That was one of the Freaky Squeaky top 5 lies I did with Roland, and we brought that up. And what are the top 5 things to bring along to an investigation?
So what's your favorite paranormal snacker?
Funyuns.
And see, and they're not quiet. And
No, they're not. Take a break and eat them.
See, mine is chewy candy.
Okay.
And we tend to bring food. And then whatever Gary brings, Little Debbie wise, and then
little Twinkies and ho-hos and.
Nope. This is from Little Debbie, so he only brings.
Oh, that's Hostess. That's right. I forgot that's Hostess.
And so I'm a tasty cake person, but they always bring Little Debbie's. And then if it's food, we have chili cheese hot dogs with no beans. Every time we get together, I just bring crock pots full of stuff. And that's what we have.
I try to go get steak before I start.
Well, at Malvern, you're limited to Casey's.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I bring everything in crock pots, and I cook in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, they did, actually. REP brought food and they cooked in the kitchen. So I think it was white chicken chili I think they brought in. And macaroni and cheese and potatoes, and it was good. It was good.
I brought in, I bring liquor cake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you name it. If it's got, I make a moonshine cake. I can make a rum cake. I can make Crown Royal cake. You name it.
They're not supposed to be drunk in an investigation.
It's in the cake.
That doesn't do it.
It doesn't do it. If you're going
What
to
Crystal brings.
what Crystal brings to them. Yes, she brings Scotch and Irish whiskey, and we're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
But and I like my spirits. I keep my spirits in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
That way I'm guaranteed to have some paranormal activity. No, actually, we have done. Malvern is one of the few places where we have drank, but never got drunk. And that's only because David and Rick did that.
Okay.
It just got to be, hey, it's time to have a small drink. And it's usually snowing and freezing ass cold. Except for when it's 110 in July when we go. So,
oh, yeah.
But yeah, the only
That's
time
funny.
it snow. Josh always wonders when it snows up there, did Denise and Ron come across the state line? I'm serious. There's no snow called for at all. And suddenly we go across the state line and it's like, damn, it's snowing again. Every time. So we're going up in August, but not to Malvern. We're not going to Malvern. We'll be down the street from there. We'll be in Stanton at a family reunion. And I'm kind of hoping that it snows because it's going to be hot.
Yes, it will be.
So, what has been the strangest piece of evidence that you've gotten? Strange, funny, unusual?
Man, you get me thinking today.
That's my job.
As of right now, probably not much. Maybe just nasty farts from the EVP sessions. Oh man, I can't think of anything that's been the strangest, and except for the bathroom thing with the Tesla coil.
Okay.
That was strange.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll go ahead and ask Tina's question, and if you come up with something, you can tell me later.
Sure.
So here we go. Tina asks, do y'all experience more paranormal when there's construction projects?
Sure. That always, anytime you disrupt a location, move things around, do remodel a home or business or whatnot, and it's known to be haunted, yes, that does disturb the spirits, and they will rattle you a little bit and move stuff on you. Because I've heard of people remodeling a house, and this, the construction guy has this big toolbox, and he leaves, walks away, and comes back, and it's gone. So yeah, that definitely stirs them up, and they will pull pranks on you, or whatever else they want to do.
And then Tina also asks, have y'all ever had a souvenir kind of thing show up that was meant for you to find? Like,
Nope.
Okay. I know that I've had that kind of happen a couple times, but they've been in places where my family, it would have been a family spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So related to us. We've had some things happen. Oh, funny story. At the Bliss Axe Murder House. We were in there one time. It's back when you could spend some time in there during the day. We're up in the kids' room, and Ron's got an echo box, and I'm asking questions, and I asked the kids, what's your favorite toy? And we got 4 answers. And I could find 3 of the toys. So I put the toys where they could see them. And the last one was monkey. Kept saying monkey. And so we can't find it. We're looking through it. We looked through the closet. We looked under the bed. We looked, in the dresser. We looked everywhere for this monkey. Couldn't find it. We go to the attic, and there's the monkey in the attic. And at the time, it was roped off. You couldn't go in. You couldn't go in beyond the door of the attic, which was fine because it was during day tours, and they got to keep something special. And they didn't have the floor. Actually, this was the last time we went. Second to last time we went. So everything was okay. It's just they had it roped off. So I go downstairs, and I go to Johnny, and I go, Johnny, I said, the kids want their monkey. And he looks at me weird, and I go, they kept saying that they wanted their monkey. I said, it's in the attic. Can you go get it and put it in the kids' room? And it was just strange that we should happen, first of all, to find the monkey. So that's one of the few that I can tell you in a paranormal location that is highly popular.
Mm-hmm. I just remembered one. So Roland and Cynthia and Taylor, Kelly McCarville, I think Mama Pat, Debbie Barton. Yeah, they were all at the Sally's house. And so they decided to go for lunch or dinner. And they had a Facebook Live up in one of the rooms. And they had some toys and whatnot in there. And they had Penny and Pitbull. Well, I can never say Penny and Pitbull in the room trying to get the children's spirits to go. And again, I had my ANC headphones on, and I'm going through chat, and me and Kim Purvis were in chat from REP Paranormal, And it's like, God, I'm hearing all these noises. I mean, it was just nuts, knocks, bangs. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing Cynthia's voice. And I'm like, it sounds like it's coming like downstairs in the kitchen area. And I text her. I says, "Are you guys still there? Or are you gone?" It's like, "No, we're gone. We're gone. We've been gone for like 10 minutes already." I says, "Because I'm hearing your voice in the kitchen." And she's like, "Nope, we're gone." And then they went back, replayed it, and sure enough, they picked it up. It was her voice. And
Yeah,
this
the walls of that house are very thin. You could hear the neighbors next door all the time. And
But I know how her voice is, so I knew that was her voice. So it was a doppelganger effect that was meant for me and Kim to pick it up, you know.
so we're gonna have some commercials at the end of the show tonight, which normally we don't. So because we want to make sure that people find out about Haunting History Paracon in Joplin, Missouri, October 7th and 8th, and got a lot of good people that are going to be there. And then Bill of Rights Network has a giveaway. We want to make sure you guys know about that. And then we have the Paranormal Giving Tree coming up on the 30th. So we want to make sure everybody knows about that. And so since I got those to play, where can everybody find Darin?
So you can go on www.facebook.com Midwest School Seekers. You can also find me on Facebook for the Paranormal Brew and the BB3 TV networks. I do a thing called the Paranormal Question of the Day, which I do that on Monday nights and then Wednesday and Friday afternoons. And then you can find me on some Fridays and Saturdays on the Raven Rose Paranormal Facebook page. And from there, we do the Freaky Squeaky. It used to be Freaky Squeaky Top 5, but we just kept it the Freaky Squeaky Show with me and Cynthia Gerodius. So you can find me there. And then every third Monday of the month, I'm on Paranormal Buzz Radio with the show called the Paranormal Buss Stop. And that is a paranormal roundtable with all topics in hand. And it's Shay Carroll, Ashley Storm, and Cynthia Gerodius and I. We pick a topic and we just talk about it. So
Yeah, I've been on Shay Carroll's show. And
yep.
I told you before, I've met Cynthia, and I've talked to her on the phone. One time we were going to Vegas, she called me, and I couldn't really talk to her because we were getting ready to hit. After Colby, Kansas, there's nothing pretty much in Denver. You know, you got Lyman, life in the middle of nowhere. And that's really what they say it stands for. And but there's
a lot of alien affections going on there.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting drive to say the least. So, but yeah, I haven't talked to her. We saw her in last August at the paranormal conference in Marshalltown, Iowa.
Oh, hey, that's where I was at.
Yep, we probably saw you.
Yep. I'm like, is that what I think it is? I said, yeah, it's Denise. I'm like, she's busy. I'll have to talk to her next time.
Well, if you saw me, then you know that Kelly had me running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So,
Kelly Steffen, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
I love Kelly, and she's in my prayers every day. Did you have a booth there? Were you the guys that were outside?
We were outside. Yeah, I think we were talking to Rex for a little bit. And then that was actually the first time I got to meet Josh Hurd.
Okay, so did you guys? Yeah, Ron says he's sorry. Of course, it's a mutual. It's a mutual sarcasm society. Sorry. And he knows it. We had to pick up when Rick passed. It's our job to take over to make sure we get him stuff.
Right.
So did you have a booth at the Marshall?
No, I was just there to actually Taylor and Cynthia picked me up in Dubuque, and we were just making our way back to Storm Lake to get ready to leave the next day for Malvern. And they said, well, we're stopping here. I said, okay, let's stop. And they were saying, well, Josh Hurley's there, so you can meet him for the first time. I said, all right, cool. So we stopped in.
We spent very much quite a bit of Saturday night with Josh at the event. And we stopped some people from burning down the location that we were all investigating.
Oh, jeez.
It was fun. And he found out, he goes, not only does Denise take charge wherever she's at, she'll even take charge of me. So, but it is what it is. I hope everybody will join us next week when my guest is Rick Wade. He is known for being able to hear EVPs with his own ears ever since he was a child. He's also a medium, and he's he used to be out of Kentucky. He's now lives in Michigan, and remote viewing he's really good at remote viewing. I've known him for quite a long time. He's got 3 books on the paranormal, and it'll be a fun show. I haven't had him on in probably since that paranormal conference we did with Tom. So
Interesting.
He's 3 years. So you guys will enjoy him, and we're going to be coming to you live from some other locations too during the next month. So stay tuned. Yeah, this
Very cool.
Saturday. Make sure you tune into Bill of Rights Network to see what we're going to be doing. So thank you guys all. See you here next Monday night at 7:00.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. And Carl, time for those commercials. So see you guys.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Cox Cemetery. We will be here live July the 30th for the Paranormal Giving Tree. So you'll have to stay tuned to the Bill of Rights Network on Facebook to find out more. But we're going to be live out here. And you're going to have to watch because we're going to have some special guests live on here that night. Denise and Ron Pridemore will be live on here with us. Possibly have Joe Citrone on here, and others could be coming on. But I'm just showing you the cemetery that we take care of and mow, and that we do investigations, because there is a lot of stuff that has been seen and reported out here. So watch us July 30th. We should start being live around, say, 8:00 at night. And this is all. Any veterans that want to come out with us, contact me on the Bill of Rights Network. We're located south of Hamilton, Missouri. So, a lot of good. See the tree here? Big old limb busted out of it. We got to get this cut down and out of here. That headstone right there, that is my great, great, great grandfather that started this cemetery. So, other ones you have to check. If I lose signal and this goes off, it'll be because of this headstone right here. So check it out. Notice an American flag somebody placed around a tombstone of an unknown Indian. So, be with us again, July 30th on the Bill of Rights Network, on Things Network, for the Paranormal Giving Tree investigation. There'll be several of them all day long. But join us. We're going to have a live virtual investigation with several paranormal people on here helping us investigate this and see what we can come up on. Again, I want to thank you very much. Join the Bill of Rights Network, Thanks Network, and keep following us. Have a good evening, and we'll return you back to the show.